Hello, this is Mator, and today I'm going to be going over a utility I've been working on called Smash, or Mator Smash. This utility is a standalone application, sort of like Merge Plugin Standalone, for performing automatic conflict resolution between multiple Bethesda Plugin files for Skyrim, Oblivion, Fallout 3, and Fallout New Vegas. It's sort of like Wrye Bash, if you've heard of that or used it. Wrye Bash was a very powerful conflict resolution tool for Oblivion, but has never really been fully updated to work with Skyrim, which has been something of a problem. You might notice that in your load order, you have dozens upon dozens of patch files to make your mods work together. These patch files are created by mod authors to do basically conflict resolution. I could talk about this at long lengths, but I want to get to showing you guys the application and how it works. There's a whole great explanation in the description through forum threads. I have links to these forum threads on AFK mods, Step forums, and Bethesda forums. They're all basically the same thread, but you can participate in the discussion wherever you prefer, wherever you have an account, I guess. Yeah, so basically this utility is going to be doing what Wrye Bash used to do in the days of Oblivion, and in the long run should hopefully allow us to have fewer patches in our load order and to make all of our mods work together better so that we're not missing content because things conflict. Anyways, let's get started with installation. So on any of these topics, you can find a download link. This is just a push download link that I've uploaded myself. You can also find download links in the repository, which is also linked from the video description. Just click on releases and then you'll see all of the current releases. The current release as of today is the alpha version 0.07. To download that, you're just going to click on this zip file down here, and it'll download onto your computer. You can save it or open it, whatever you want. So this is the zip file you get, the contents. You just want to extract this to any folder you want. It really doesn't matter what folder you use for this. It's entirely up to you. Wherever you store your tools works. Your Skyrim directory, program files, really whatever you want. So I'm just gonna drop it on my E drive, I think. I don't know, make a folder in here, call it Mator Smash, and just drag and drop. And there it is. That's all you have to do for installation, and then you could start it, but if you're using Mod Organizer, you of course have to start it through Mod Organizer. So I do use Mod Organizer, so I'm going to start it up so that I can do that. So once Mod Organizer is started up, you need to add it as an executable. I already do, but I'm going to add it again so you can see. There's two ways you can get to this. You can click on this two gears icon, or you can go here and then go to edit. Then you're going to say Mator Smash. I'm going to call it tutorial because I already have one called Mator Smash. You click the dots to find the binary file. You're just going to browse to wherever you have it installed. In my case, that will be E Program Files Mator Smash. Select the executable and click Open. And that should be that. Click Add. You should see it added to the list. Select it and run it. Now I'm going to be running Mator Smash with just a smack together load order with some files that were recommended to me by Thalassa for showing conflicts. I've gone through, I haven't played Skyrim actually for a while now, so yeah. Also, I should verify that this utility is untested on games other than Skyrim. Oblivion, Fallout 3, and Fallout New Vegas are all supported, but I haven't done any testing on them. There's no Smash settings for them, so if you want to go out and try it with that, that's great. You'll have to fiddle with it yourself. There's no reason why it wouldn't work for those games. In fact, the way it's been coded is such that it will work with any game as long as the Xedit definitions exist for it. So anyways, that's just a word of warning there. So when you start it, you'll be presented with a profile for every game you have installed. I'm doing Skyrim, so I'm going to choose Skyrim profile. It'll start up, it'll display this splash screen. It'll load all your plugins, and then the application will start up. From there, if you're using Mod Organizer, you're going to have to configure the Mod Organizer integration. So you click Options, go to Integrations, check I'm using Mod Organizer, and then if you want to, you can click Detect Integrations, and it will try to find it for you automatically. You can verify these paths are to the correct Mod Organizer installation, and if anything is wrong, or if this doesn't find your Mod Organizer, you can click here and you can browse for it manually. You then want to set the patch destination directory. In the case of Mod Organizer, you want it to be Mod Organizer's mods folder, else you want it to be some other folder. Now it's going to create the patch in a folder because it's geared towards Mod Organizer integration. At some future date, I'll make it so if your destination directory is the data path, it'll just create it loose, but it doesn't do that currently. It's kind of left over from merge plugins. While we're here, we can go over some of these other options. This is not working yet. This is working. I think the plugins, simple plugins list is working. But most of this is just left over from merge plugins that I ported over, and none of it is actually like this works, and this of course works, and this works, and these are debug options. Debug options, you're probably not going to need to use those unless I ask you to turn them on for logging if you report an issue. But yeah, we'll just click OK. We're good. We're going to need to restart now. Well, actually, no, we do have our Mod Organizer load order, so we could just go here, I think. Let me think. Well, this load order might not be right if you start it without the integration set up. So we're going to close and we're going to restart so that we can get the correct load order per the integration. And it takes only like 10 seconds to restart. Also, something cool that you can do if you want. If you want to skip that profile screen, you can edit the application and put an argument here, -profile, and then the name of your profile. Your profile name can't have space in it for this right now. I'll be updating later on so that that is supported, but by default it's Skyrim profile with no spaces, so this is what you would do if you wanted to start with that profile by default. Anyways, we're now here. This is a list of the plugins that we have in our load order. We can view their information by clicking on them. The first thing we're going to have to do is create or adjust Smash settings. As a simple user, you could probably just use the Smash settings that are distributed, but I want to go over this for everyone who's more advanced and who is interested in learning how these work. So the core idea of Smash is to have these settings, which basically determine how it conflict resolves records. Sort of like bash tags, except for users can freely apply them to plugins, and they're really, really powerful and really flexible. Kind of metas out the idea of conflict resolution up to a higher level where we have a lot of control. So there's a whole bunch here that come with it. We'll look at one of these. This is for ALK ingestible records. So when you click on a setting, the name will be here, the color, and a description, and then a tree. And the tree is basically how everything is handled. So these are all elements inside of an ALK ingestible record. You might recognize them if you've ever opened Test5 Edit Up and looked at an ingestible record, or maybe it just looks kind of weird to you. That depends. You can expand these down, see how they work, just take a peek at them, that kind of stuff. This is the automatic setting, and it is a setting that I built using a feature called auto set attributes. The records have not been gone over with a fine-tooth comb. It's kind of just like an automatic setting, but it should work pretty darn well for most records. Some records will need to be more specific, like cell or NPC, but in general, this is pretty good. It will work, it just might not lead you to the conflict resolution you exactly want. For that, we're going to be making more specific settings per record, like NPC, like this here. Anyways, I'm going to start explaining how these actually work and how you can make them. Right click here and choose New Setting. You then get a new setting and you can name it. So, what do I want to do here? Cobj. Cobj is constructible object record. I'm going to give it a maroon color, and we're going to say, we're going to add, so I'm going to explain this instead of just going carry away here. So in order to add a record to a setting, you right click on the records node, go to add, and then choose the type of record you want to add. It'll then add a prototype of that record, which basically shows every element that record could have. And from there, you can start to set up how that record should be handled. If you want things to be really fast, you could use auto set attributes, which will the program will guess what the setting should look like. And so I do that, and this is what it looks like. And I'm now going to explain what this all means. When a node is unchecked, it means that we won't conflict resolve that node, which means whatever was in the winning override will be what's used, which is the same as the behavior in Skyrim. So that node is totally not modified. Here we're not doing anything with the record header, which is the way it should be. Record header should always be skipped, pretty much. At some later date, we may want to handle record flags, but for now, don't even bother. COCT count, that's a count value. It's automatically updated by test5edit, xedit API, so we do not need to traverse that. It's done automatically. Same thing here. No, this was incorrectly disabled, so that should be enabled. This is the number of objects created. We now have an items array and a conditions array, so we can go into those and check them out. So again, we have a count element that was incorrectly disabled, so we'll re-enable that. And looking at the condition, so first off, let's figure out what these flags are. So this one, that means treat as single entity. And what that basically means is if any change happens on any element that's checked down here, the value's changed, then instead of just forwarding that single change on that single element to the patch record, we're going to copy all the way up to the level of the treat as single entity flag. So basically, let's just say I had a record that changed the function on a single condition. If that was to happen, we would copy the whole conditions element object with each individual condition with all of their elements to our patch record. And so this is really valuable for determining when you have something that you don't want to be like merged, but you just want to use the non-identical to master version of that element. That's what treat as single basically does. This other one here is this flag is called preserve deletions. What that basically means is it means that if an item is deleted from this container, that's what it's called, it's a container, then we preserve that deletion. So we will delete it from our patch record as well. And that's valuable if you want to preserve deletions. It's sort of like relev and delev from Bash. Delev basically means allow deletions in a leveled list, and relev means allow additions to a leveled list. So let's just click save here real quick anyways. Always have to save. Good idea to save early, save often. So those are two major flags, and how we set them, it's fairly simple. You right click and you click toggle whatever you want to do. So this is preserve deletions, turning it on and off. Single entity, on, off. Fairly simple to do. Yeah. There is one other thing here that we probably should handle. So there's another feature that's offered by Smash called linking. what linking basically allows you to do, it allows you to say, if this element gets changed, then copy this other element as well from that record. So for instance, let's just say we want the created object and the created object count to remain the same. So if one mod changes the object that's created by a recipe, another one changes the count, we want to get the whole thing. We don't want to get just the count. So like, let's just say you had a recipe that originally created, I don't know, iron gauntlets, and someone changes it to create this new type of gauntlet, and someone else changes it to create, I don't know, something random, 100 iron ingots, or just 100 iron gauntlets, whatever. I have to have a good, I can show you guys, I can write this down. So we have a recipe. So originally created, so this would be in the master record. Let's just say in Skyrim.esm, 1 iron ingot. Someone changes it in a mod, now creates 1 iron armor. And then someone else changes it in a mod, and it now creates 10 iron ingots. This is a purely hypothetical. It's just for the purpose of demonstrating. So because the created object and the created object count are different, we have two things here. So we have iron ingot for the created object, and then we have count 1, and then in this other version of the record we have created object iron armor, count 1, and then in another version of the record we have created object iron ingot, count 100. So when Smash is conflict resolving this, if we just left things as they are here, what we would end up with is created object iron armor, count 100. That's a little OP. And that's obviously not what you want. What you want is you want to get these two things together as if they're a single object. So if someone changes the count, you want to also get the created object. If someone changes the created object, you also want to get the count. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to link the two together. So we can do a single directional link or a bidirectional link. Bidirectional link is also called a chain. What I mean by that, I'll clarify here. First, we're just going to do it. Right-click, chain nodes. You'll see now this little link image appears by it, and if you mouse over it, it'll say linked to, linked from. And so a single directional link would be like, let's just say we linked from count to created object. What that would mean is if the created object changes, copy the count. That's a typo. So for instance, it would detect with this record that the created object changed, and it would copy the count. Let's just say 2. So if we had only a link from count to create object, we would end up with iron armor 100 still. If we had a single directional link from create object to count, then it would do the opposite. But anyways, my point is, you usually want a bidirectional link or a chain. And single directional link, I'll leave it up to the smart people to figure out when to do that. Usually though, you just want to chain stuff together. So that looks pretty good for a constructible object record. So now we're going to save and close. Now we want to apply our setting to some plugins. So the way we're going to do that is we're just going to select our plugins. I used shift click there to select a bunch. Don't want to do Sky UI. And then we go to Smash setting, and then we can choose our setting, Cobj. And then we want to add them to a patch. So same idea, select them like this, right click, add to patch, new patch. And we'll say Smash Cobj. Gotta add .esp to that file name. Click OK. And here's our patch in the Patches tab. And you can see all of the plugins that are in it. And it says it's ready to be built. So everything's configured correctly. So we can now click on this Build Patches to build the patch. It'll build it, smash all the records, and complete. Now for anyone who used the Mator Smash script, you're probably going crazy right now. Because that was really fast. That was 1.4 seconds. Again, I mean, I was only processing Hobj, but this is one of the major advancements in Mator Smash Standalone, and that's speed. Pretty much every Smash patch is going to be built under a minute, which is really fast. A lot of them will be around like 10, 20 seconds, so very cool, very fun. So we can see here what records it handled, what ITPOs it removed, and we can close. ITPO is identical to previous master. We can now close the application. It'll save our configuration of the application, and now we're here. So after you've built a Smash patch, first off, if you're using Mod Organizer, you're going to want to go to All Mods Refresh. And then you should end up with a mod down here for your Smash patch. Smash Comp, here it is. So you enable that, and now what we want to do is start Test 5 Edit. Because this is an alpha application, you absolutely have to, if you want to use the patch or if you're debugging, no matter what, pretty much, you want to investigate the patch and see if it's doing things to your expectations and fix manually any bugs that occurred. There won't be many, but there will be bugs with, say, virtual machine adapters, which is the script element. That's the only bug that I'm currently aware of. So let's just go in here and take a look. We only ended up with a single record, and right now we're spending too much time building reference info. Okay, let me fix that. So I'm going to restart Test 5 Edit here. So a trick that you can do, hold Shift and click OK, and Test 5 Edit will skip building reference info, which will bring you to the display of the plugins and the conflict view much faster. You shouldn't do that for certain scripts, like the merge plugin script or if you use Sleep Swap Master script, don't do that. But for others, you can. So this is the only record that I ended up passing through, because all the rest didn't need to be conflict resolved. But you can see here, so this is not a very good explanation, but you can see here, or example, that this condition got carried forward. These did not replace it, and this workbench keyword got carried forward. And that's it. I mean, maybe in reality you want to link conditions to the workbench keyword, and in that case you would get this one's change without this one. But I don't think it really matters very much. I mean, I think these actually both do the same thing, equal to -1 get level and disabled recipes, so yep. Anywho, we'll now close this, and we'll now build a more interesting Smash patch and go over a little more where this is going. So Smash settings are going to be evolving a lot in the months that we're in alpha and the months that we're in beta, and even after release. Because people will be making these, and people with various levels of modding experience will be making them, they will evolve over time. There will be settings for specific mods, like Requiem. I'm sure the guys at Requiem are going to make a setting specifically for Requiem to handle their level lists properly. And there will be settings built for categories of mods, like weather mods, lighting mods, armor mods. And there will be settings that are just kind of for a single record that can then be combined. So there's another cool thing I'll show you real quick. If you select multiple settings, right-click, combine settings, you'll get a combined setting. Okay, apparently that's broken. Never mind. That's odd. That's not to expectations. I'll fix that. Yeah. So combined settings will allow you to combine individual settings together. If there's conflicts between them, you can choose which one you want. And for now, if you want to make a really big Smash patch and understand what's going on, you can just create an automatic setting. So I'm going to show you how I do that. So you create a new setting. We'll say automatic tutorial. We'll make it purple as well. Blah. Right click here, build from plugins. Right click, select all, OK. So if you want to make an automatic setting, this is one way you could do it. Build from plugins you could also use if you wanted to build a setting specifically to target certain types of mods, like weather mods. So you would select just the weather mods from that list, and then you would get all the types of records that are in those weather mods. Anyways, so we now have all of these records in here. And for the automatic setting, all that I did is right click here and auto set attributes, which the program went through and automatically did some stuff. And I didn't even go in and verify. So this automatic setting is okay, but it's not very good. There will be mistakes in here. Like maybe these should be conflict resolved. I don't know. Maybe they shouldn't. There will be other things in here. Maybe the effects, maybe we don't want to treat them as single. Maybe we want to resolve all of them. Maybe the data should be traversed normally. Maybe we don't want to treat it as a single entity. Maybe we need to link some things together. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that needs to be asked and answered in terms of this automatic setting. So the way I see it going, oh, by the way, this is pruning. So the way pruning works, I'll click no for now. So you can see here how there's a record node that's fully unchecked. There's absolutely no reason to have that. Node not being present is equivalent to being fully unchecked. So it'll automatically prompt you. But you can also right click and auto prune nodes, and it will remove ones that are unchecked. Anywho. So yeah, where was I? So yeah, so people will be making settings for specific records. People who really know how a record should be, or maybe you even. You can be the one to do it too. Basically, the way you do it is you'd start out making a setting for a single record that is present in some of your mods, and then build a smash patch and look at the results and ask yourself, is this right? Is it not right? If it's not right, how can I change it to make it work? So like for constructible object, maybe what I wanted to do there, maybe I wanted to link conditions to the workbench keyword. And so you could link those two together. And then maybe we fix something. Maybe we don't. I don't know. I'm actually going to unlink that. So right click unlink nodes. Yeah. It's really it's going to be an evolving game here. And in the future, there's going to be community features so that people who make settings can share them with other people. There will be a global settings database on the cloud, and you will be able to download them right into the program, from the program, however much you want. And then there will be people who can make recommendations on settings and say, use this setting with this plugin. And then they can tell you why and how much they actually did to make that recommendation, or if they just said it. Yeah, so the community features are going to be really cool, but they're not here yet because this is alpha, and I am working all the time on this, but not enough to get that community features done. Yeah, let me see if there's anything else I need to cover. Yeah. Why don't we just try applying one of these automatic settings, even though we know that's not going to be good. So we can just apply to all of these. So remove from the cobs patch, smash setting, automatic tutorial, add to patch, new patch, smash.esp. Okay. And then we'll build it. And it'll take a little bit longer now because we have more records to handle now. Still extraordinarily fast, though. And it's done. Let's see how long that was. 35 seconds. Not bad. Not bad at all. So we'll close this down, and we'll take a peek at it in test5 edit. Shift, click OK. Always so hard to remember that, but if you can remember to hold Shift before clicking OK, it'll make this whole process a lot faster for you. A lot of things faster, really. Anywho, we can go in here and we can look at stuff. So that looks fantastic. 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 So you can see it's carrying the keywords forward. This is the same changes, but yeah, it's not an ITPO. It seems like complete crafting overhaul should come after clothing and clutter fixes, maybe. Misc items, okay. Let's try magic effects. So we got the keyword from the unofficial Skyrim Legendary Edition patch, but we got the changes from complete alchemy and cooking overhaul. So that's good. Let's look at leveled lists. So I have deletions on, or that's what the automatic setting did. So you can see that things that were deleted end up deleted. That makes sense. I think that makes sense. So you can see the changes here. Looks good. Everything looks forwarded correctly. Yeah. Generally speaking, if the record has a yellow background and green text, it means that everything is probably quite perfect, as long as you wanted it to preserve deletions, that is. Here we have one that's red and brown, so let's see why that is. Interesting. So it would appear that one particular element didn't get forwarded. I wonder why. That's pretty odd. L item. So interestingly, we've got some funky stuff going on here. We've got stuff added to here. That wasn't in any of the original records, so that's wrong. That's a bug. That needs to be fixed. Most of it looks fairly good, but then we get these weird additions every now and then. And it doesn't seem to happen often. It seems to work fine for most records. It looks like it's a duplicate handling issue, possibly. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, it's just some kind of element duplication happening on there. Not entirely certain why it's happening, but clearly there are bugs here. So, I mean, you can manually fix them. Going in and removing stuff. So that one was removed, but this one was added. So that looks better. Let's look at the NPCs. So I know for a fact that this setting doesn't link the NPC facial attributes. So you'll have some NPCs that would have the gray face bug if you used this setting. I'm fairly certain. But the NPC setting, that one works and that one is right. Now, I'm actually curious about ones that have a VMAD element, because that's the one that has bugs. Yeah, so this should have been here. Not that hard to fix, but yeah. Interestingly, it still reports there to be a conflict there even after I've dragged that over. Oh yeah, it's because we're overwriting this. That makes sense. Never mind. That looks good. That looks good. That looks good. Good. Good, good, good. But yeah, you can just go through here and we can just review records almost endlessly to figure out how good this is doing. But overall, it looks like it's doing a fairly good job. Yep, yeah, this looks fairly nice. There are a few bugs, as we've seen, but overall, it's doing a good job at what we're telling it to do. Again, virtual machine adapter not quite working. If we just drag it over like that, it works. Not sure why that's happening right now. That's a bug that I need to fix. That looks fine. Of course, we would have to do that on each of these records to get our patch to work properly. So we can do that real quick. Oops. And so we've made some manual changes. I'm going to save. I'm going to sign off now because this video has been going on for way too long. So yeah, I don't recommend you use this for your game unless you review every record in the Smash patch in Test 5 Edit afterwards. If you don't review the records, you're going blind. Something's going to be wrong. It's not quite at the point yet where we have a setting that just works. We're not there yet. We might get there. There may be a time where through plugin recommendations and through users creating settings and reviewing them and figuring things out, we will get to a place where we can say, this is good and working. I don't know what's going on with Test 5 Edit because it's just sitting here. Finally, that took a while. Fallout 4 support will be added when Fallout 4 support is added to Test 5 Edit. They're working right now on it right now, as I'm going to try to help them. I'm crazy busy with my other developing stuff, but if I can help them out, I will. Likely that won't come until February. Lots of new features planned for Smash. It's constantly evolving. Just recently, Netter joined me on developing it, so I'm really excited about that, hoping we can go a little faster, make things really good, powerful, accurate, useful, user-friendly. Yeah, thanks for watching. Sorry for the video length, but lots of stuff to talk to. Want to really give you guys an idea of how this works and what it is. Yeah, thanks for watching. See you guys.